Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ashok Kumar from Government Women Engineering College, Ajmer. In this lecture, I am going to discuss about the basic concept of antenna arrays and then two element array configuration and problems related to the two element array configuration. The following contents will be addressed during this lecture: the background history of antenna arrays, analysis of two element array and problem associated with two element array. This slides is prepared from this book Antenna Theory, Analysis and Design, published by Professor C.A. Balanij. First we need to know about the background history of antenna arrays. As we have discussed in the chapter 4 of C.A. Balanij, when we are taking the infinitesimal dipole and this dipole is located along the z direction, in that case we have calculate the electric and magnetic field equations, and then finally we have observed the radiation characteristics of a single element antenna is discussed in the C.A. Balani book in chapter 4. And to keep the radiation characteristics of single antenna element array, then the radiation pattern of a single antenna element is relatively wide and each element provides low values of directivity gain. In many applications, it is necessary to design antennas with a very directive characteristics, I mean very high gains to meet the demands of long distance communication. This can be accomplished by increasing the electrical size of the antenna. It means when we have to increase the gain of the antenna, or we can say if we want to get the high directive characteristics of the antenna, in that case we can increase the electrical size of the antenna, and this electrical size of the antenna is one of the important parameter in antenna analysis. So there are two ways through which we can get the directive characteristics. First is the enlarging the dimension of single element, and another is the assembly of radiating elements in a electrical and geometrical configuration. We can say suppose one antenna having the dimension 10 of 10 mm. In that case, if we want to increase the dimension 20 by 20 mm square, in that case we will get the directive characteristics, or we can uh, put various small antennas in a series of configuration like a log periodic antenna, like a Yagi-Uda antenna. In that case we have to enhance the electrical size as well as the geometrical configuration. So this new antenna formed by multi elements, it means the antenna having the many number of elements, it called to as an array. The individual elements of an array may be of any form like wire or aperture. As we have discussed that the antenna can be categorized in broad sense of categories in two categories. First is the wire category and second is the aperture category. In the wire category, there are lot of antennas are coming, like a dipole antenna, circular loop antennas, rectangular loop antenna, I mean loop antennas, then traveling wave antennas, broadband antennas, frequency independent antenna, and many more comes under the categories of wires antenna. And in the case of aperture antenna, horn antenna, reflector antenna, and this type of configuration are coming under the category of aperture antenna. So when we are calculating the total field, when we are using multi elements, in that case we can calculate the total field of an array and it is equal to the vector addition of the fields radiated by the individual elements constructively in desired direction and interference destructively, I mean cancel each other. So we can calculate the total field of array, and this is the basic phenomena we are using to analyze the array in the form of wire antenna or in the form of aperture antennas. In an array of identical elements, there are at least 5 controls that can be used to share the overall pattern of the antenna. I mean, we can save the radiation characteristics of the antenna by using these 5 important controls, in which the first is geometrical configuration of overall array. I mean linear, circular, rectangular, spherical, etc. Second, the relative displacement between the elements. Third, the excitation amplitude of the individual elements. Fourth is the excitation phase of the individual elements and relative pattern of an individual elements. So we can say these are the 5 important controls through which we can calculate or through which we can save the overall pattern of the antenna. And these, when we are analyzing these 5 controls at the same time, in that case we will get the desired radiation characteristics, and that will be discussed in this lecture, especially for the two element array. These array can be used for personal, commercial and military application, utilizing different elements including dipoles, loop, aperture, microstripes, horn, reflector and so on. These are the category of array antennas, and here you can see in this figure it is the array of dipoles, and again in this figure you can see it is the array of dipole, and this array of dipole generally using as a base station antenna for mobile communication. It is a triangle shape of configuration, and this configuration having 12 elements, and these elements are known as the dipole elements. You can see 1 2 3 4. It means we can say to cover the 360 degree. In that case we are using 4 dipoles to cover the 120-degree. Similarly you can see here we are using 4 dipoles, and similarly third part is 120-degree. So we can say to cover the angular sector of 120-degree, we need to require 4 elements, and to cover the 360 in that case required the 12 dipole elements. And these configuration of antennas that can be used in mobile communication at base station is called the sectoral antennas. The another categories of series of antenna means it is the dipole category, and here you can see we are using n number of elements, and we are energizing the driven element, and by using reflector we can reflect the energy in particular direction. Then after we will get the end fire radiation in the case of uh, Yagi Uda antenna. So this configuration we have discussed in the Yagi Uda array antenna analysis. So uh, we can say that the array configuration can be designed in a proper manner through which we can get the overall pattern of the antenna, and these configuration depends on the these 5 controls as we have discussed. Then further we have to analyze the two element array. This is the geometry of two element array, and this geometry is positioned along the z direction as you can see in figure 1. Here we are using two infinitesimal dipoles, and we can consider two infinitesimal dipoles by hash 1 and hash 2, and these two dipoles are having the distance among them is d, and from the origin, this is the origin, and from the origin dipole 1 is located, as you can see in coordinate system, is a 0 0 comma d by 2, and dipole 2 is located at 0 0 0 comma 0 comma minus d by 2, and this is the observation point. So here we have to calculate the total electric field, and the distance from this has one antenna, I mean infinitesimal dipole, we are representing here r1, and from the origin is r, and from the dipole 2 is the r2, and we can calculate the far field observation, as you can see in this figure 1b. Here again we have to calculate, these are the far field configuration. So we have to analyze the total field or far field calculation at observation point. In that case, first we need to understand the basic concept of infinitesimal dipole, and you can see when we are going to analyze the infinitesimal dipole antenna, in that case we have to calculate the total electric field, or we can say E of theta component, by using a vector potential approach. Then after we are converting the rectangular coordinate system into the spherical coordinate system, then after we are using some Maxwell equations, then after we will get the electric field and magnetic field equation, and in that case we are getting the electric field equation in the direction of a theta direction, and it is called E of theta component when we are going to analyze a single antenna element. So the same concept we are using here, and then after we have to calculate for the two element array. So we can calculate the total field radiated by the two elements, assuming no coupling between the elements, is equal to the sum of the two, and in the yz plane, as you can see we are calculating in the yz plane. So Et is equal to E1 plus E2. We can say due to element 1 is the E1, and due to element 2 we are saying is E2. Then we are putting E1 and E2 from the single dipole, infinitesimal dipole antenna. Then we will get this expression for calculating the total radiated field by the two elements. Here you can see one parameter known as a beta, and this is the difference in phase excitation between the elements, or we can say it's the relative phase shift. Here you can see the relative phase shift between has1 and has2 elements is beta, we are representing here. The magnitude excitation of the radiators is identical. This is the important in the case of array antenna analysis. So we are taking equal magnitude, assuming far field observation, and considering the figure 1b. In that case we can calculate theta 1 approximately theta 2 approximately theta, and r1 is equal to r minus d by 2 cos theta. Here you can see, you can draw a perpendicular line, and this component is the d by 2 cos theta. So r1 is equal to r minus d by 2 cos theta. Similarly we can calculate r2 is equal to r plus d by 2 cos theta. Again you can put this perpendicular, and then after you will get the value of r2, which is equal to r plus this element having the length d by 2 cos theta. So we can say r plus d by 2 cos theta, and these are using for the phase variations, and r1 equal to r2 is equal to r for the amplitude variation. So these are some assumption we are taking to calculate the E of t component. In some other books they are representing it is a E theta component. So we can reduce the E of t component by using this expression, and again we can reduce this equation in the form of this expression in the direction of E of theta components. So we can say Et equal to E theta equal to in the direction of E theta component. From figure 3, from equation 3, it is observed that the total field of array is equal to the field of the single element. This is the single element field. Position at the origin, as we have discussed here, this is a position at the origin, multiplied by the factor, multiplied by a factor twice cos 1 by 2 kd cos theta plus beta, and this factor is known as the array factor. So we can say total field of array is equal to the field of the single element position at the origin multiplied by the factor, and this factor is known as the array factor. Therefore the two element array of the constant amplitude, the array factor is given. So we have considered this is the constant amplitude. In that case array factor is equal to twice cos 1 by 2 this. So we can calculate the normalized value of array factor equal to cos 1 by 2 kd cos theta plus beta. So the array factor is the function of the geometry of array and the excitation phase. As you can see, is depends on the d geometry and beta. Beta is the phase shift or excitation phase we can say, and it depends on the d. So we can say array factor is dependent on the geometry of the array and excitation phase. By varying the separation distance, I mean d, and or the phase beta between the element, the characteristics of the array factor and the total field of array can be controlled or can be altered. It has been revealed that the far zone field of a uniform two element array of identical elements is equal to the product of the field of the single element at a selected reference point. Usually we are taking this is origin and the array factor. So we can say E total equal to electric field due to the single element at a reference point. Here we are using origin is the reference point into array factor. So this is the basic concept of analysis of array. Further, when we are going to analyze the for the n element array, in that case this expression is valid for the n number of elements also. And this configuration, or this is referred to as the pattern multiplication for array of identical amplitude, identical elements. So we can say this analysis we are getting from this, that it is a pattern multiplication theorem. It is also valid for array with number of identical elements which do not necessarily have identical magnitude, phase or spacing between them. So the array factor is a function of a number of elements, their geometrical array element, their relative magnitude and their phase and their spacing. So we can say array factor depends on this factor. The array factor reaches a maximum when the argument of the cosine function is an integer multiple of pi. We can say plus minus pi. So we can say when we are calculating the argument of this expression, I mean array factor expression, then it is the integer multiple of pi, we can say plus minus pi. And further we have to solve some problem based on the two element array, and this is the problem given. According to figure 1a and b, find the nulls of the total field when d is equal to lambda by 4. I mean the spacing between two infinitesimal dipole is lambda by 4, and progressive phase shift given beta is equal to 0 degree. In that case we can design or we can calculate the nulls of the total electric field. So first we need to understand what parameters are given. So given d is the separation distance between elements and beta is the relative phase shift or progressive shift. So normalized field we can calculate Etn is equal to cos theta cos pi by 4 cos theta. This expression can be calculated by putting these value in this expression. This is the expression. Then further we have to normalize it. Then you will get this expression Etn is equal to cos theta cos pi by 4 cos theta. To find the nulls, then we are equating Etn equal to 0. Then we are putting Etn is equal to cos theta cos pi by 4 cos theta when theta is equal to theta n at normalized value equal to 0. So we are getting two expression. First is the cos theta n is equal to 0. So theta n is equal to 90 degree. So here you can get one value where the nulls is occurred. Similarly, the another function is the cos pi by 4 cos theta as theta is equal to theta n. Then after you will get theta n is not exist because theta n is equal to cos inverse plus minus 2 is not does not exist. So the null occur at theta is equal to 90 degree, and this is due to the pattern of the individual elements. So here you can see cos theta is the radiation from the individual element, and cos pi by 4 cos theta is due to the array factor. So in this problem you will get the null at theta is equal to 90 degree, but due to the array factor you will not get the nulls in this pattern. So we can say it's a omnidirectional pattern in the case of beta is equal to 0 and d is equal to lambda by 4. So the array factor do not contribute any identical additional nulls because there is not enough separation between the element to introduce a phase shift of 180 degree between the elements for any observation angle. So this is the important conclusion we are getting from this problem. And then further we have to draw the radiation pattern of this problem. Then after you will get the electric field due to the individual element, and we are getting theta is equal to 90 degree having the nulls value. So here you can see this theta is equal to 90 degree we are getting nulls, and again in the reverse, so we can say again theta is equal to 90 we are getting nulls. So we can say the pattern maximum is occur 0 degree and 180 degree in the case of single element. And this is the array factor. Here we are not getting any value of nulls, so we are saying it's a omnidirectional pattern. When we are multiplying by using pattern multiplication theorem of these two plots, then after we will get the similar radiation pattern of the individual elements, because at 90 degree when we are multiplying then having the nulls. So you can see here the nulls occur at theta is equal to 90 degree, and this is valid for the beta is equal to 0 degree and d is equal to lambda by 4. So this is the important conclusion you can see for the two element array when these two elements are spaced by lambda by 4 distance and progressive phase shift is equal to 0. This is the another problem, and here we are getting based on this infinitesimal dipoles, and we are taking here is the separation distance d and phase excitation difference beta between the elements. Then find the angle of observation where the nulls of the array occur, as we have discussed in the previous problem. Similarly we can discuss this analysis in this problem also. The magnitude excitation is same. So to normalize total field of the array by using equation 3 we will get Etn. This is the normalized. To find the nulls we are putting this value equal to 0, then we are putting this value, then cos theta and theta, and so we are having nulls at theta is equal to 90 degree, and this is due to the single element. And cos 1 by 2 kd cos theta n plus beta, this is due to the array factor. Then after we will get this value cos inverse lambda. This expression is valid when we are taking n is equal to 0 1 2, when we are considering here 2n plus 1 by 2 plus minus 2n plus 1 by 2 into pi, or we can say if we are taking this uh, analysis, in that case we are taking n is equal to 1 2, or in plus case we are taking 0 1 2. So this is the analysis of this problem. So null at theta is equal to 90 degree is attributed to the pattern of individual elements of the array, while the remaining ones are due to the formation of the array. For no phase difference between the element beta is equal to 0, and separation distance d must be equal or greater than the half wavelength d by lambda by 2 in order to at least one null due to the array to occur. So this is we have to analyze these two problem based on the two element array in the array analysis. Then another problem having the d is equal to lambda by 4 and beta is equal to plus pi by 2, and d is equal to lambda by 4 and beta is equal to minus pi by 2, based on the infinitesimal dipoles located along the z axis, as you can see in figure 1. And this problem is for to test yourself how we can understand the pattern multiplication properties of the antenna. So from this lecture you will get the basic background of the array antenna. Then after you can analyze the two element array configuration and problem associated with two array configuration, and understand the concept of pattern multiplication from this lecture. Thank you very much uh, to everyone for watching this lecture. I hope so this lecture is beneficial for you. In the next lecture we are going to discuss for the n elements array. Then after we can calculate the array factor and other parameters. Thank you.